welcome to Aska, where we are talking about all things wellness. And today we have such a special guest. We are joined today with Kimberly Jarena with Healthy Clarity. Welcome, Kim. How you doing?
Good. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited for this new chapter of life. There's just a lot of really good things. So I'm on a high right now. So I'm really good.
I love that. And I love that you mentioned a new chapter of life. I feel like collectively
Yes.
we're turning a page, but it's beautiful to see if you all don't know this, but I know Kim personally and I've seen her and
Mhm.
she's seen me move through many different chapters. So it's beautiful to see
Yes.
the unfolding. So before we get into any of that, I like to start off with an icebreaker question. Do you want to participate?
Yes, of course.
Okay. So if you could be any animal, let's say you're going to reincarnate, what animal would you be?
For some reason, the first animal that popped in my head is a rabbit. I don't know why, but a rabbit, I'm thinking I can hop places. I can hide in the ground. I was thinking white, fuzzy rabbit.
Hmm.
Um, other, just to do rabbit things.
To do rabbit thing.
Yeah, to do
Rabbit
rabbit
business.
hop hop, right? And first, that's the first animal that popped in my head. I'm gonna have to look that up later. Like, why
Why the
rabbit?
rabbit?
Because
Yeah.
rabbit probably really goes with the season somehow. So I'm going to have to think like, why rabbit? Especially
And you're
today, like
wearing
here,
white.
I'm wearing white, and
Uh-huh.
so maybe I'm thinking about a white rabbit hopping through the snow since there's snow where I am.
We gonna have to look into that.
We gonna
They,
have to look into it.
I would be a giraffe. I'm coming back. I would be a giraffe
Yes.
if I could be an animal. Okay. But typically I was going to be a
Okay.
tree, if anything. But
You know what? I dream about trees.
yeah.
So, yes. And my first name, I had to look it up. It means in the meadow. So I'm thinking to myself, a fortress in the meadow. So I'm like, I must have been in the meadow somewhere before. Yes, a
Somehow.
tree. We can have a whole conversation about being a tree.
And she's so serious. Let me tell you something.
Yes.
Kimberly is the person to be like, the way that her spiritual team communicates with her is absolutely beautiful. Like, I feel like our brains work very similar when she goes down the rabbit hole. Speaking of rabbit
Yes.
hole, I have a
There we
question.
go.
Yep, I got a question. So
Yes.
let's get back on focus. Tell us about Healthy Clarity. Okay, so Healthy Clarity
Yes.
from your website, I saw it blends science and spirituality and
Hmm.
soul work.
Hmm.
You have experience
Hmm.
in resiliency training, positive psychology, and astro numerology, and mindfulness practices. So tell us a little bit more. Like how did you get here?
How did I get here? Okay, so we're gonna actually start more on the resilience. So how did I get here? We're gonna start before that. So as you know, but everyone else may not know, I am a military veteran.
Mm,
I am a combat military veteran
mm,
and went to Iraq, back, all that kind of stuff. That was a very large portion of, I would say, the first 10 years of my career.
mm,
Included things that dealt with combat and combat related and things like that. I won't go too much deeper into that. Shortly after being in combat and being in combat situations, coming back from deployment, I had my son. So I had my son after that. And then as I was making a decision on whether or not I wanted to change jobs and change jobs that would put me in a situation where I was going to be apart from my son and I had to make some decisions. That was when military resilience came into my life.
mm,
And that was the first time I experienced it. And I said, "Oh, I want to do this." And I became what is known in the military as a master resilience trainer. What that means is back then I helped other military members and even military connected civilians. I helped them with decisions that they were making, some sort of life transition, some sort of life change, whether it be changing a job,
mm.
whether it be choosing to get married or divorced or anything like that. I was helping them back then do that. And so now I'm in this new chapter, and well, that really was 2012 all the way to 2014. Then I was actually teaching in uniform as a military member, helping those. Even resilience really came back because of post-traumatic stress disorder in
Mm,
military
mm,
members, and it was, hey, how can we help people bounce back before they get to the point of needing trauma therapy and things like that. And so that's why military resilience was brought in.
mm.
A few years later, almost about 10 years later, I decided not only did I love military resilience, but I wanted to do this as my career outside the military. And on my way to get ready for retirement, I started to finish my certifications in the areas that I thought I that really, mindfulness, meaning making, acceptance, those things, those really spoke to me. And so I completed my holistic life coach certificate with the Edgar Casey Center.
Mm,
I completed my Astro Numerology because that was one way that I was using to stay present, even as a military leader. The numbers helped me stay present in today
mhm,
instead of having the anxiety connected to too much of tomorrow.
mhm,
And so I completed that certificate. And then I went on to go ahead and open my LLC and open my business, Kimberly Jarena LLC. And Healthy Clarity by Kimberly Jarena is one of the programs within Kimberly Jarena LLC.
mhm,
And I help mostly women, but I help women who are navigating some sort of not of life change. I help them connect to their inner voice. I help them
mhm,
make decisions based on their own soul purpose
mhm,
to and move forward in the way that they would like to move forward. And I love what I do.
mhm.
And I was saying the rabbit hole just appeared because I was about to start talking about human design. But anyway, I love what I do. I think human design is next for me as
Okay.
I go down these different rabbit holes and things like that of how else can I help people connect to their inner voice and their inner navigation and compass. That's
Mhm.
really that lights me up. How do I help people connect to their inner guidance system?
I
Yes.
love that. Thank you so much for sharing. And I love like the breadcrumbing, like the collecting and then the slow matriculation of becoming. And you're like, oh,
Yes.
I do all these things. And now you have a place that you've designed for yourself to show up fully, to share everything. And let me
Yes.
just say, let me hype you up real quick. I participated in Kim's healthy clarity coaching. I cannot rave enough about how divinely aligned you are in what you're doing. Kim has literally held my hand through my own becoming in this chapter, and it's so beautiful to work with someone who is doing what they're meant to do. So kudos to you, girl. So
Oh,
so let's talk about numerology, okay?
yeah.
And but not just numerology, messages. All right.
Yes.
So is every number a message? Okay. And do you have to listen to the messages that are being present? Because sometimes people get the messages woken up in the middle of the night. Do every message mean something?
So I love that because I think I saw your video with the
Yeah,
with the
girl.
wake up in the middle of the night
Yeah.
with these messages, right? So is every number a message? I believe every number has meaning.
Okay.
Does that mean that that number has meaning to me right now? Not necessarily. And so I'm really
Mhm.
big with I say talking to my spiritual team, and I specifically said I want to see a number three times, or it needs to show up in three different ways for me to go, okay, that is a number for me to listen to.
Right.
There are other ways. Like, yes, sometimes if I get to wake up in the middle of the night, then I'm like, okay, then that's probably one of them. But on a regular day, because I see numbers everywhere, on a regular day, I can't, I would not be able to concentrate if I was continually. So I do it if I'm seeing the number three times, if I'm seeing the number in such a way, even as I look at a chart, when I see the number repeated two, three, four, five, or more times, that is a clear message. And
Right.
that message of that number, then it becomes my job to translate what is the message of this number for that person or for even for myself, because the numbers could change. And so that is how I look at that. Yes, every number has meaning, but does it have meaning for me right now in this cycle or where I am now? Maybe, maybe not. And that's how I use it. That's how I do it to figure out, okay, this is something you need to pay attention to right now.
Wow.
It's repeated multiple times.
I like that. I like that you have that standard of like show it to me three times. So I know
Yes,
what's up. Can we talk about ethics? Because I know you are, multifaceted. Again, you're also an
yes.
oracle and intuitive. And so when you hold space for people, what are your own personal ethics that you abide by? Because I know there's no like ethical agencies for this type of work. What are you subscribing yourself to?
So I'm glad you asked me that. I was raised in a whole different background than I guess I am now, but I was raised Christian. The reason I bring that up because I was raised in like a kind of Pentecostal churches and things like that. I was
Mhm.
raised in churches where people got the Holy Ghost.
Mhm.
And there were certain rules with that, and some of the rules included if someone is going to get up and speak in tongues, then someone has to be able to translate. If not, then it was out of order. That was one of the things that I was raised with in church, right? In one of the churches that I was going to.
Okay.
And so, interesting enough, I actually kind of applied the same rule to
Okay.
myself, that either with the numbers or things like that, if something comes in
Mm.
and it's an understood message, and I there's a few other things that go with it. If I feel like, hey, I am also given, I guess what we call it, the utterance to explain what that number means, to translate it for someone, then I will give it. But there are certain times I will not. I do not, even as I say that, I'm like, well, is that true?
Mm.
I will not transmit unless I get it maybe 3 times. I do
Yeah.
not transmit death. I also don't I
Yeah.
also do not like to transmit births that are
Yeah.
coming, but as you know, ever so often, and it's happened more than once, ever so
Yeah.
often, when it's coming through, and oh, are you pregnant? And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
and then I have to stop because I do not want, as it comes through me,
Mm.
some people are not ready.
Mm.
You're different, right? Some people are not ready to hear.
Yeah.
And so I guess maybe if I was in church, it'd be the spiritual maturation to know when to say what needs to be said.
Right.
That is very important to me, and so I
Right.
apply some of those same ethics. Everything that comes through is not supposed to come out of my mouth,
Period.
and I have to have the spiritual maturity to know that.
Mm.
And then I also have to have the spiritual maturity to know like who I'm talking to. Like you, there's certain things I know I can tell it to you straight, right?
Mhm.
But there are others are not ready to hear what is being said. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't go straight into translation with them. Like I said, unless I am seeing it. Like when I say seeing it, um, I'll give an example. This came from a dream. I had a dream, and there was a van, there was a baby, there's all these things in this dream.
Mhm.
And I actually didn't know who this dream was for.
Mm.
And one of my friends came to visit, and
Mm.
I was with her, and we were walking, and images from the dream came up and did what I call a blink 3 times.
Mm.
And as they blinked, I knew that was for her. And
Mhm.
that's when I say, oh, well, then I almost have to get out of the way because I've been given a gift, and I transmitted the gift. And that friend let me know, well, me and my significant other, we've been trying to get pregnant. And I
Mm.
didn't know that. And they ended up being pregnant and all that kind of stuff. It was great. It was kind of a confirmation for them. And then
Yeah.
I was like, the minivan. She said, we were looking at minivan. So sometimes it comes through just like that. And I was like, well,
Yeah.
then this is a confirmation, right, for you. But I didn't even know. Like she had not actually said that to me, but I had had the dream prior to her even coming to visit. I didn't even know it was for her.
Mm.
But that's kind of that spiritual team trust that, hey, if I get this multiple times, then this message is for that person. Now,
Yeah.
I'm going to go back a little bit because I should also say that I have had uh, death and birth dreams since I was a little girl. Okay.
Mhm.
Since I was a little girl. And I didn't know what to do with them then.
Mhm.
Now I know what to do with them now. And I don't like to tell people what I see unless I'm so sure it's for them,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that's that kind of pressure. I don't want that pressure. So like I said, a lot of my ethics do come from some things that I was raised with, and the other ones are I don't believe I don't believe in it's also a rule that I've set for my business. we,
Mm.
we don't act in fear. We
Period.
don't I also do not bring in people based on fear. I don't believe in fear. I don't believe in fear. I also don't believe in fear-based theology. Okay. I did go through seminary. I don't believe in fear-based theology, which made me go a different direction from what I was experiencing.
Mhm.
So I don't believe in that. I don't want to do that. I don't want people to leave my presence heavy. I
Hmm.
want them to leave with solutions, even if the solution is this is what you're going to do when you get this news or whatever like that. Because I have had to deliver that as well. I was led to do that. I actually apologized to that person multiple times, and this person still loves me because of the of what came through that really helped her with
Yeah.
what ended up being a death in the family. And
Um,
so that's really my ethics are like that. I don't like to just I don't. I don't. I don't. I don't
Yeah.
believe so. And which, I love this because, me and you, we real talk. So I remember walking in, I think it was Walmart when my
Um,
baby was a baby, and he's 19 now. When he was a baby in in Las Vegas, Nevada, and
mm,
this woman walked up to me and she's like, "I got a word for you." Blah, blah, blah. I said, "I would not do that. That's not gonna be me.
period.
That's not gonna be me."
Yeah.
Right? And she
Yeah.
was like, "You were cursed in the womb," and blah 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 blah. No, no, no. And she's like, "And I can help you with $5 in a tree." No, we
You
are
will
not
not
doing
help me.
that.
You will not
We
help
are
me.
not doing that. No, no, no. I said that is not how my gift.
Yeah.
No, to me that's out of order. And so I said, "No, we're not doing that. We're
Yes.
not doing that." So I even tried not to. I have accidentally said something to someone, and I said, "Wait, wait, wait! I don't even mean to. I don't even want to accidentally tell somebody something. I want to make sure
Yeah.
that they're ready. I'm ready. That it's a
Yeah.
clean conduit of information."
Right, right. And not
So
perversed with like personal interpretation.
that's
And I
right.
like that you shared that because it leads me at this point, my spiritual team is asking these questions because they're just like, here,
Yes, let's
go
do
ahead,
it.
drop. Go
I love your team.
ahead.
Yes. So yes, my those. Ooh, you can ask any of the questions, but my ethics are yes,
It's so
and it's just
important.
it's
It's so
so
important.
important.
It
It's
really
so
is
important.
because this work has the power to build or destroy. It really
That's
does. It
right.
has
That's right.
long-lasting effects. So let's talk about what you
Like
just
you said,
shared.
life and death and the power of the tongue. I believe that.
Mhm. It's so serious. And I don't know about you, but when I would work with some intuitives before I matured a little bit, I used to hold it like this is sacred
Hmm.
and not realizing, wait, that message was perverted through the person's lens. So what do
Yes.
you have to say for people who are engaging with yourself or other intuitives about having their discernment and being able to listen to know when the message is actually for them and when it
Mm,
isn't.
that's a whole lesson. Okay. So I gosh, what are the words I want to use? Clean instrument, clean
Mm,
filter,
mm,
clean. You want to be that clean, and you want to know when you're not. And so
mm,
even for me, when I'm having sessions, I don't want to be tired. I don't
mm,
want to be alcohol. I don't, there's a lot of
mm,
things that I've put in place. Like, hey, these are the things that I don't want so that I can be a clean filter of
mm,
what's coming through. And I need to know that. And so, and as you've experienced, my sessions start with breathing. They
mhm.
start with a prayer for sacred space. I believe in prayer for sacred space. I don't believe in just doing this stuff willy-nilly. I believe in the spiritual world.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to making sure that either you're the conduit or the person you're talking to is a clear conduit, I kind of okay, if I am sitting with someone
Mm,
and they are being the conduit to me, I kind of do the same rule of three.
mhm,
Um, Very seldom does someone say something to me now that surprises me.
mm.
Normally they're saying something that confirms what the spirit has already told me.
Right.
If they say something out in left field, then I say, okay, I'm going to go research it. I'm going to go look it up. I am an intuitive skeptic. Even in this work, I'm an intuitive because I don't believe in just. That's also something that came from being a church girl. People would say stuff from the pulpit, and I'm like, that's not even biblical. That didn't come from nobody's Bible. So I'm big on that. So if someone is talking to me and I even think they're not a clear conduit, then I'll be like, okay, let me listen to what sounds like it's for me, and whatever's not for me, I'll let it go.
Right.
Or maybe to come again. And so either they need to be a clear conduit or I'm a clear conduit. Either way,
Hmm.
there are people. If it's fear based, I'm not gonna be in their audience anyway.
Yeah.
If it's hateful based, if it I'm not gonna. they're not even gonna know, like, oh, I'm not gonna sit through whatever because what I'm seeing is coming out.
Right.
That doesn't do it for me.
Right.
And so those are definitely some of the rules. But like I said, normally when I'm sitting with someone, they're confirming. Normally I'm like, oh, that's right, I did hear that, or I did see
Mhm.
it in a dream, or
Mhm.
I wrote that in my journal just this morning. You just confirmed. In fact, I asked someone, and sometimes it's something simple. I
Mhm.
asked someone, what are their next dates for this workshop that they're gonna do? Now, they hadn't yet planned to do any of these workshops. And then they
Mhm.
said, you just confirmed for me that I'm going to, but I confirmed for her something that had already been dropped in her spirit. Right.
Right.
That's all. And I don't go, oh, no, I confirmed for her. I didn't say something out of left field. And that's also for her. She knew, oh, I can receive that because that had already been dropped in my spirit.
Right.
I'm really big on that. Like, I
Mhm.
don't, I also think we're mirrors for each other. Right. And so I'm really big on, hey, where else did you see this? Where you can confirm if it's real. And
Mhm.
and like I said, I'm really big on, if it's, I know I said it already, if it's fear based, it's
It's a
not for me.
no. It's a
It's
no
a
for
no.
you.
It's a no. If you do this and then you bark like a dog and quack like a duck and then give me $500, we're not doing that.
None of that makes sense. No thanks. I don't want to be
No,
part. So you mentioned a
no.
lot about having standards and not even expectations, but boundaries in place. What are
Yes.
you suggesting to your clientele right now? The collective energy, it feels like we're being shaken up in a jar.
Yes.
Honestly, it feels like when I see in my mind's eye, I see two timelines, and one timeline is being shaken up, and the other one is out here in the field of flowers, just chilling, seeing what's going
Just
on,
that
just
is right.
existing. So for the people that are existing in the timeline that does feel jolting, what piece of advice or just encouragement or message could you impart with them to kind of help them ground and understand, as above, so below. There's bigger things at play. We just got to stay
Right.
grounded.
What you just said, we have to stay grounded. That was actually
Mhm.
my message that I gave even yesterday.
Mhm.
So, for example, um, the big collective energy yesterday was two, two, two,
Mhm.
right? So you got everyone throwing out two, 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 la, 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 right? And there's a two, two, two every year, right?
Mhm.
But my job as a, not only as a numerologist, but as someone who is ethical,
Mhm.
is, I feel like my job is always to educate. So when someone's like, I'm gonna do this, I'm 222 and da da da, I'm like, okay, each year actually gives a different vibration to go with the 222,
Mhm.
right? And so even yesterday, 222, but 2026, which is a 2221.
Mhm.
Last year was 2229. So last year would have been 222, but closures, endings, culminations. Where this year it's a, what are you starting? What are you beginning? It's a one, right? And it's one in the area of two. Two is balance, it's relationships. What are you doing in the area of, all those kinds of things. And
Mhm.
so before that's what, and since it's then it's 222 plus one instead of 222 plus nine. 222 plus one is a seven. The big thing that goes with a seven is grounding,
Mhm.
rest,
Mhm.
reset, journal, meditate. So before you go out there to relate,
Mhm.
you need to release, or you might need a rest. You might need to put your feet in the grass.
Mhm.
You need to ground before
Mhm.
you go out there and relate.
Right.
And you're grounded because you need to be a full vessel in yourself.
Mhm.
You need to be, I call that integrity. I'm an Air Force. Integrity is one, but for integrity, like that tree we wanted to talk about,
Mhm.
when a tree is in integrity and the wind blows, it's not falling over. You want to make sure that you're in integrity before you go out there relating with other people.
Right.
That's really what 2221 is saying for this year. Make sure that
Mhm.
you're grounded, you're ready, all that kind of stuff. So as people come to me and they're like the so and so, sometimes I call it the pop astrology or the pop numerology
Mhm.
or whatever.
Mhm.
It's, they said this and they said that. Get grounded first. You
Yeah.
need to figure out what does that mean for you?
Yeah.
Not what does it mean for everybody else. What does that mean for you? Which I
Mhm.
would say, I almost said the Bible again, because it reminds me, like, but what did that actually mean for you versus what it mean for everybody? What did it mean for you?
Right.
And so that whole being grounded, being in integrity with yourself, that is so important. Okay, so That's one thing. I know I just went in that deep. The second thing, still in being grounded in yourself, I would say that if you're going to go out here in this world and decide that you're going to use some sort of spiritual anything, you need at least 5 seconds of education. You need
Yeah.
it. You need that. Why? Because there's all kind of stuff out here. And once again, you need to be in integrity with yourself so that when you're out here, you're not getting bamboozled and blown every which way, that you're not the tree that doesn't have integrity.
Right.
Example. So, and I'm not against AI.
Hmm.
I had a friend, she had put all her stuff in AI, and AI gave her a whole bunch of bad information, but because she wasn't educated
Mm.
on what is the MC, the midheaven,
Hmm.
what is, which is the 10th house of career status, all that kind of stuff. What is the IC, or the fourth house, the house of home, stability, mother. She didn't know those things. So when she put her stuff in chat, she got a whole bunch of garbage back and didn't know. She couldn't decipher.
Yeah.
And if you're not deciphering those things, and you could take those things and run with them, either walk outside and use those things as advice. And I would tell you, you need at least a few minutes of education. Once
Right.
again, you need to be in integrity before you go out there running with these different things that are out here.
Hmm.
Get some education in those things. Same thing with numerology, because I had someone who said, I went to the numerology and I put it in ChatGPT. I said, you need to know. I said, as a certified numerologist, I have to understand when I'm using Chaldean numerology and when I'm using Pythagorean numerology. If
Hmm.
you do not understand that, you could go to ChatGPT and be led astray. Right.
Yeah.
So there are things that and that also becomes, why would you go to an actual trained astrologist or an actual trained numerologist versus just going to AI or going to something else? So I
Yeah.
would say, one, be in integrity with yourself. Be grounded. If you're going to go in any of these directions, either get an education or get someone you trust,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then even if you trust them, because I was always trust but verify, how are you going to verify? You need to get some education. That's actually what led me further down this road. I said I need to get some education so that I know what I'm being told. The first time anyone said anything about natal chart, I didn't know what that was.
Yeah.
They'd start talking to me. It sounded like they were talking Google, Google, Google. I had no idea what they were talking about. And I said, you know what? Let me open a book and let me start learning. And I
Yeah.
remember me and you had a conversation one time, and you had said there was a book and there was all this light coming out that book. That was knowledge, okay?
Hmm.
And I needed, and it was me. And that to me was a confirmation. I need to get in those books. And in the library, which I'm not in that room, but my library is full, and it will keep getting full. Right
Yeah.
now, I'm looking at the psychology of astrology, because these are things that are important. So the education, the integrity, how to be in integrity with yourself, and how to know who you are so that you're not caught up in the collective mischief.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
I
that's
like
what
that
it's
mischief.
that's a whole nother thing. It's
Yeah.
that's a whole if I say mischief, that's a whole nother thing of some of that collective energy
Yeah.
being mischievous and out there just running amok. No, you got to be
Fragmenting and moving things around. I love that you're talking about like the marrying of embodied intuitive knowledge and
yes,
ancient wisdom, marrying it
yes,
with like not empirical, but just book knowledge and marrying it. Because
yes.
I can admit to you, to human is to err. When I first started this journey, I was loud and wrong in many times, and I was in areas I wasn't supposed to be. I had no
Mm,
business doing love readings, baby. You're supposed to be over here talking about emotional wellness. What are you doing over here? So
right,
I think that goes back into the ethics of making sure you're knowledgeable of what you're talking about. You're just not being loud and wrong to the collective, because that's so
right.
harmful. So let me tell you something. I had this question popped in before we started, and I'm gonna read it to you. Okay, hold on. Let me find it. Let me find it. The question was following the rabbit hole. Okay,
Mm.
okay, listen, I'm not joking. The rabbit hole. Let's talk about rabbit hole of patterns. If you choose to follow it, does it ever stop? So if you choose to go down and oh, 222 is leading me here and there's a collective one and we over here, does it ever stop? Like, it's like, all right,
So
my child, that's enough. You got the message.
yes, okay, you just said it. All right, my child, that's enough. You need to listen for that,
Yeah.
because when I say I will go down a rabbit hole,
Yeah.
I will Alice in Wonderland. Okay,
Uh-huh.
we done gone down the all the holes. Okay,
Mhm.
so let me go back to when you said patterns, and this is what's making me go down the human design rabbit hole. It's human design combines like all the things that we're talking about, and it makes me just go crazy. So astrology and numerology and the I Ching, we didn't even talk about that, but all these ancient wisdom, it puts them all together. And through human design in a dream. So I had a dream earlier this year. The number 44 was in this dream. And then I started seeing 44 everywhere. That's an example of, okay, I need to follow that. Up
Mhm.
until then, human design didn't make any sense to me. None at all. The first time I ever looked into human design was in 2020. I looked again in like 2022, 2023. It didn't make any sense. And then early this year, it was like, I don't know if do you remember when you learned how to read as a child? And like
No.
right before that, the words on the page, it didn't make any sense. And then all of a sudden
Yeah,
you look and you're like, ah, that's what happened.
it clicked.
It happened earlier this year, and it was like I could see,
Right.
and that ended up being human design. And then I found out one of the number that kept popping up, number 44, it is the number of someone who sees the world in patterns. So when you said patterns, I'm like sees, and I am one of those. I'm one of those people that I see the world in patterns. So
Hmm.
the patterns keep going. So, and my brain will automatically put patterns together.
Mm.
So, automatic. That's what my brain does, right?
Yeah.
And everyone's brain is different, but mine is the pattern. And so if there's a rabbit hole that includes a whole lot of patterns, I normally go down the hole until I feel empty or until I feel full.
Okay.
If
Okay.
I feel empty, I stop. I say, "Oh, okay, all right. I'm at the bottom of this rabbit hole. I need to go. I need to have a shake or eat some food or something." The human part of me is like, you know, gone. Look. And if I'm at a rabbit hole and I'm full and I'm like, whoa, I also
Yeah.
stopped in. And I know what that, you know how that feeling is. You're like, oh, I'm full. I
Mhm.
can't take any more in,
Nope. I had,
right?
yes. I had that feeling
Those are,
with you. I was like,
yes.
yeah.
I was thinking about that. I was thinking about that because you were when you're like, ooh, that's a lot.
Yes, we were sitting down at the art gallery and you were just like, it was like you were just pouring apart. I said, Kim, I'm full. I'm full.
Yes. You're
Yeah.
and once either I get full or someone else gets full, and that's before I knew to put I wasn't good back then. I was good with the fire hose, the hose, but I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't good with now I have to look at someone and gauge,
Yeah.
okay, I think they're full or
Yeah.
they're empty. And I now as a practitioner must know that. But
Yeah.
even me going up in and out of these rabbit holes, I need to know. Also, I would say there's another kind of discernment because I just felt this.
Hmm.
There's some rabbit holes I am told not to go down. I
Ooh.
listen.
Oh,
Okay.
goodness. Yes. Oh, listen. What my mom say, a hard head leave for a soft ass every time.
So it reminds me of watching those videos where there's like people who get the storage units, and and you don't know who lived in the storage unit, and someone pulls up the box in the storage unit, and they're like, "Put that back."
Hmm. Hmm.
Look, I'm not supposed to go down every rabbit hole.
No.
I'm just not supposed to do that. So it has to be in clear alignment for me to go down that rabbit hole. Now, I know that now.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
didn't always know that. So I had to find out the hard way.
Yeah.
Um, because the spiritual world is real. It's
Very much.
real. And you're not supposed to be, just like you said, you ain't supposed to be out here doing all this stuff with all the things. You're really not.
You
All of us, I
cannot.
believe all of us are on assignment.
Yeah.
And I believe some of our assignments are specific.
Yes.
And if we are out in la la land, okay, so either I'm empty or I'm full with a rabbit hole that is in alignment with me, or I'm near a rabbit hole that is not in alignment, and I have to know to let it go. And
Hmm.
because if human design, I wasn't ready for
Yeah.
5, 6 years ago.
But it
But
came back.
now I can, okay. But
Yeah.
there's
It
other
came back.
things where there's other studies. I've said that study is not for me, and that's okay.
Yeah.
There's other people that can go down that way. Okay, but that study that over there, that one's not for me. That's not my rabbit hole. Someone else
Yeah.
can go down that one.
I love that. When you were talking, I thought of AI because AI is a pattern not making, but recognizing machine. And my brain was breaking down artificial intelligence, but you're not artificial, you're just intelligent. And so you're just breaking down your patterns and meaning making. So I'm always in awe when I sit with you. You're just so, so beautiful and just connected. Now, let me ask, because I know we can really go on and on and
We
on.
can,
Yeah, we
we
can.
can.
It's happened.
Yes.
Is there anything that you want to impart? Anything you want to talk about your business or just anything you want to leave with the people in general?
As you said that last part, the patterns, the AI,
Hmm.
it actually reminded me of the beautiful black women who were part of NASA,
Hmm.
the human calculators, human computers.
Hmm.
I believe all of us have gifts. And I
Hmm.
believe all of us have, it may not be that we're all the human calculators. You don't need everyone to be the human calculator. You need some people to do that. You need some people to be the pattern. Some people, they need to, we all have these different roles, right?
Yeah.
And so I would leave with the people, if there's something that truly feels in alignment, go after that thing. You are go after that. I forgot normally I'm like, what stops you from going full speed in the direction that your heart is telling you to go? Normally it's fear or what will they think? I mean, I was there too. What will they think? I just got my certificate redone. I've been an astro numerologist for 2 years, but I didn't feel comfortable coming forward out in the open. You knew, but out in
Yeah.
the open, I didn't feel comfortable probably until about 6 months ago,
Yeah.
out in the open and telling the world,
Yeah.
because I was thinking, "Well, they're not going to understand me and this, that, and the other." And I was raised in church and da 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 da. And I still hear, "Hey, all these things can go together.
Oh, sure can.
All these things can coexist."
Hmm.
I still believe in Jesus, right? All these things can coexist.
Hmm.
And so if you have something that really sets your soul on fire, go after it. Even if you're going one step at a time, one step at a time is still going after it. I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't at least take that one step closer and go, oh, that feels like I said, for it was words I understood. Resilience.
Yeah.
Okay, I started going a direction of resilience. Well, resilience has a lot of things in it. Positive
Hmm.
psychology. What is it? I always say his name wrong. Jungian psychology. And then
Hmm.
I got deep into that and the archetypes, and
Hmm.
I'm like, this world, I love this world. Mindfulness, meaning making, or what does
Yeah.
that mean? What I love this world, and I'm glad I went down, even though at first it was just one step at a time. I did what I called the safe ways to go down. Then I finally said, woo!
You cannonballed up in it. I
Yes,
love it. Let me tell you something. So I was instructed before starting to pull a card. I was instructed to pull a card to share. The card says, I don't need to find my purpose. My purpose will find me. And so you
mm,
landing us here, just start baby steps. You don't have to have the whole map. And typically the map won't
right.
be revealed to you
That's
until you get
right.
started.
That's right. That's
They gonna pivot you
woo.
about 18, 17 times. And you like, oh, I
Yes.
thought I landed. No, baby girl, you over here now.
You're over here. Yes. Or you're in this town, but you need to be over and make your way to
Yeah.
this town on the map. Or you're in this town for a time to learn, but now we want you to move to this town because you got the next thing to learn. I love the map. That my dad had me on maps early as a child, which I think made sense for what I ended up doing in the military, and then the whole patterns.
Yeah.
I think now, like, everything was meant to be. So the map, I love the map. I
Is
love it.
human design not a body map? Like, is it not a like
It
a
is.
okay,
It
so
is.
you
It
just
is. It's a map. It's a body graph. It's all that. Some of them call it a mandala.
uh-huh.
The body and the a life mandala. So yes, all of it, and all of it goes together. All of it's a body map. All of it is. So
I love it.
yes, maps and
I
charts.
that's
I was an
you.
imagery analyst when I first started in the Air Force. So like I said, and then remotely piloted aircraft. So anything dealing with maps, charts, where are we on in the world? Where are we in the spirit? That is, I speak that language all day.
You do, and you speak so eloquently. You all, please, if you're looking for an intuitive guide, a coach, someone to hold your hand through the process, Kim is the person you want to connect with. How can they get a hold of you?
So to get a hold of me, my website is Kimberly Jarena, Kimberly Jarena, no space.com.
Mm.
There, you can go ahead and book a free 30-minute discovery call. And we can figure out what area and avenue are you looking for. Just so I call it clarity. Are you looking for just some quick clarity, or do you want some clarity over 6 sessions or something like that? So I call all of my things clarity sessions, clarity coaching, because that's what it is. Once you tap into that inner voice and understand it, all of a sudden things get clear. All of a sudden the clarity appears. I didn't even mean to rhyme, but you know. So yes. So if you wanna talk to me, KimberlyJarena.com, and I'm here. Yes, please book a discovery call. I
Oh,
would I
please,
would love to talk to you.
please. You will be doing yourself the greatest service, okay? Thank you,
Yes.
Kim. Thank you so much for sitting with me.
You are so welcome.
Until next time, you all, thank you for tuning in to Aska. Have a good one.